Welcome. My name is Danielle. Got Mochi back there in the background hanging out with me. And as always, we are so glad to see you here. So, depending on the person, the time of day, the season of the year, we might find ourselves needing different things to really get present in our bodies. And the great thing about yoga is there's no one way to do yoga. So sometimes you might need a lot of cueing, a lot of guidance from the teacher to really be present, really feel your body and embody the pose. That's great. That's one way to do it. Sometimes you might need the teacher to just get out of the way and just give you that minimal cueing, allowing you to move pose by pose and just really connecting with your breath. That's another way to do it. My goal as a teacher is to offer you a variety of ways to get into that meditative state. So today we're going to have a class with minimal cueing, just enough to prepare you pose by pose, and giving you the chance to just breathe and connect with that breath. So as always, you don't need props, but some blocks can always be helpful. All you need is you and your mat and maybe a nice calming music playing in the background, and we will meet on our mats in child's pose. All right, so we're here, we're ready to get started. You can always remain seated if that feels better, but I'm going to go ahead and come into our child's pose. So a couple of moments here at the beginning to tune in to your breath. Inhale and exhale is all we have to focus on. All right, seal that focus in and we will start to move. So on your next exhale, walking your hands over to the right, going into our side bend. And then releasing, coming back through center. Reset the spine. And then on your exhale, walking your hands over to the left, hips back to the right. All right, releasing, coming back through center, stretching out your spine, and then coming up into tabletop. So finding your shape, neutral spine. And as you're ready, dropping down into cow. And on the exhale, rounding back for cat. A couple of rounds here to move with your breath. Maybe staying with traditional or adding a little more movements, adding in some hip circles, adding in some shoulder circles, just looking for some sensation, whatever feels good. And reversing circles if you've taken them. And pausing next time you come through center, neutral spine. On your next exhale, we're going to C-shape the spine to the right, hiking those hips and shoulders, trying to look over your right shoulder. And then release, come back through center, neutral spine. On your exhale, C-shaping the spine to the left. Back through center, neutral spine. On your next inhale, windmill that right arm open, stretching tall. Then going into our thread the needle, lowering the right shoulder down. Connecting with our breath here. All right, then we release. Replant the left hand if you've moved it. Inhale, unwinding that right arm. And then exhale, both hands ground down. Reset your spine. And on your next inhale, left arm opens up, stretching tall. And then on the exhale, threading the needle, left shoulder coming down. And then releasing out of it gently, replanting it right hand if it's moved, unwrapping, unwinding that left arm, and then both hands ground down. Walking the hands forward, a couple of handprints. We'll start to lower down into puppy pose. Starting to surrender the heart, surrender the head. All right, then gently starting to lift yourself up. Start to sink the hips forward, coming into Sphinx. All right, releasing the head down, planting the hands under the shoulders, sinking your hips back through tabletop. Maybe child's pose if you need it to reset the arms. And then lifting up into our first downward facing dog. So feeling it out for a few breaths. Pedaling the knees, maybe bending the knees. Just starting to find that length along the back line. And then coming to stillness for a few breaths. Bend the knees, look to the top, pressing into the hands, gently tippy toe forward. Coming into a forward fold. Then we release. Gently start to round it up, roll it up. Chin comes up last. Arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down by your side. Taking a moment to connect with that breath. And we'll start to go into our sun salutations, sun A. So inhale, arms up, interlock grip. Exhale, tipping over to the right. Holding for a breath. Then inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, tipping left. And holding for a breath. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back, top of a push-up. And shift forward, lowering down. Knees, chest, then chin. And inhale, pulling the heart through. Exhale, lower down. Push yourself back through tabletop. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Coming back to your breath. Just starting to notice what's coming up. Maybe taking in the sounds around you. Got a lot of sounds around me today. That is the beauty of the moment that you're in. Right, bend the knees, look forward, gently stepping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folds. Inhale, round it up, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down by your side. Coming back to that breath. And inhale, arms up, find your grip. Exhale, tipping rights, holding for a breath. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, tip left. Hold for a breath. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back, top of a push-up. And shift forward, knees lower down. Then lower all the way down. Inhale, pull the heart through for cobra. Exhale, sink the hips back through table. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. And coming back to that breath. And bend the knees, look forward, hop, step, or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, round it up. Arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down by your side. Let's do one more sun salutation. A. Inhale, arms up, interlock grip. Exhale, tip rights. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, tip left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back, top of a push-up. Inhale, lower down, shift forward, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, pull the heart through for up dog. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And settling in. On your next inhale, lifting the right leg. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Inhale, raise that leg. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, raising the leg. Exhale, knee to nose. Gently stepping through. Dropping the back knee, untucking the toes. Settling in for a runner's lunge. Finding depth for a few breaths. And staying or finding movement, shifting back into half splits. And lowering into our lunge. Moving with your breath. Transitioning between the two. Staying with movement as long as it's calling to you. Or when you're ready, settling into our splits to hold. And finding our breath here. All right, then inhale, shifting forward, planting that left hand, pivoting the left foot out, coming up into side plank supported variation. Maybe stepping the left foot back for a full side plank. Exhale, windmilling the right hand down, flowing to downward facing dog. Coming back to our breath. There's a lot of planes around me today, way more than usual. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to find peace and enjoyment in the ambience as part of the goal. Finding peace in every moment. All right, your next inhale, lifting that left leg. Exhale, bringing the knee into the left elbow. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, knee to right elbow, crossing through. And inhale, lifting up. Exhale, knee to nose, hold for a breath. Then gently stepping the foot through. Dropping the right knee, untucking the toes, finding our runner's lunge. So feeling it out for a few breaths. And staying or starting to invite movement, sinking the hips back for our splits. And sinking forward for our lunge. Moving with our breath. And staying with movement as long as it calls you. We're starting to settle in for our half splits to stay. Breathing through it, finding space, and feeling the full pose, whatever that looks like today. All right, then shifting forward, preparing for our side plank, swinging the right foot out, starting to peel the left arm up, left foot stepping back, staying supported or maybe stepping both feet back, holding. Then windmill that left hand down, make your way to downward facing dog. Then cleansing breaths, coming back to that stillness. Bend the knees, look forward, hop, step, or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, round it up, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down by your side. Finding stillness. All right, on your next inhale, swinging the hips down, lifting the arms up into chair pose. Holding for a breath. Then exhale, folding in, lifting the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, right foot steps back. Dropping the knee on the inhale, lifting the hands to knee, thigh, or sky for Crescent low lunge. Staying here for a few breaths, finding stillness. Maybe taking it further, inviting movement. Maybe sinking the hips back, going into our splits again, and sinking it forward. If you want to keep the hips, this chest square, this is one option. Maybe opening up to a twist, windmilling the left arm down and around, opening up to the side, then inhale, closing it back up. Just finding whichever variation feels right today. And then maybe if we're taking that movement, pausing in that extended pose at the end, finding a little space. All right, then inhale, coming back through. Exhale, plant the hands, frame that foot, swinging the right foot out, coming into our side plank, maybe full side plank this time. Then exhale, windmill the hands down, transition to side plank on the other side. And exhale, windmill down, make your way to downward dog. Coming back to stillness, back to that breath. All right, next inhale, right leg lifts, and exhale, stepping it forward, dropping the knee, untucking the toe, making your way to crescent low lunge. Feeling it out for a few breaths, and then deciding what do we need. Are we staying in stillness or inviting movement? Sinking the hips back, going into our half splits. Or deciding to twist and open it up, windmilling the right arm back. And closing it in, maybe doing both, transitioning between the two. Or picking one pose to hold. Moving with your breath. And then as you find it, maybe coming to that last pose to stay. Finding space, finding length. And then release, coming back into our crescent lunge. And windmilling the hands down, framing that foot, swinging the left foot out, stepping the right foot back for our side plank. Then windmilling the hand down, coming into side plank on the other side. Windmill the hands down, make your way to downward dog. Then coming to stillness. Bend the knees, look to the top, hop, step, or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sink the hips back, lifting the hands up for chair pose. And inhale, coming into Samastitihi, Tadasana. Coming back to that breath. All right, on your next inhale, sinking the hips back, lifting the hands up for chair pose. And exhale, folding in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, left foot steps back for crescent high lunge. And then inhale, opening up into warrior two. So feeling it out for a few breaths, finding your pose, your alignment. And staying here or inviting movement. On your inhale, reversing back. Exhale, warrior two. And inhale, side angle. And coming back to warrior two. Maybe picking one pose to hold. Or finding that dance. One breath, one movement. All right, coming back into warrior two for one more moment. Then straighten that front leg, hinging forward, finding length, then lowering down into triangle pose. Finding whatever variation feels right today. Breathing space. Then windmill the hands down, Start to frame that right foot. Step the left foot in a little bit. Setting up for pyramid pose. Breathing space. All right, on your next inhale, walk the hands forward. Start to bend that right leg, stepping up into a half split. Then exhale, release. Forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sink the hips back. Inhale, chair pose. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Right foot steps back. Crescent high lunge. Feeling it out for a moment. And as you're ready, windmilling open into warrior two. So finding your pose, finding your stillness, deciding to stay, or starting to invite that movement, invite that dance. On the inhale, lifting back for reverse. And inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Just moving with your breath. Maybe doing one more round. The next time you come into that side angle, hold for a moment. And maybe coming back up, straightening that left leg. Start to hinge forward, finding a length on the left side. Then lower down into just your triangle pose. I'm sorry. Got a little tongue-tied. Maybe lifting the gaze if it feels okay. Maybe closing the eyes. Finding space. And as you're ready, windmill the hands down, frame that left foot, step the right foot in a little bit, pyramid pose. All right, as you're ready, walking the hands forward, bending into that left leg a bit, stepping the leg up, half splits, and then releasing top of our mats. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to chair pose. And exhale, Samastiti. Coming back to our breath. All right, on your next inhale, sink the hips, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, stepping the right foot back. And then start to pivot to the side of your mat, setting up for a Skandasana side lunge onto that right leg. So maybe going full into it, maybe keeping those hips high. Just feeling out your lunge. Then inhale, opening up, star pose. And exhale, starting to hinge forward, pivoting the big toes in, heels out. Our wide-legged forward fold. We'll be doing 2 rounds, so maybe taking different arm variations each round. Finding what feels right. All right, on your inhale, start to plant those hands on the shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low and slow. Make your way to a low lunge on the side of your mat, facing the back of your mat, sorry. Feeling it out for a moment. And then as you're ready, on your next inhale, start to open up Warrior Two. Breathing it out. And then inhale, opening Star Pose. Exhale, Warrior Two into the other leg. Feeling it out. Exhale, windmill the hands down. Start to walk your way, pivoting low and slow back into the center of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in, going for our second round. Maybe walking the hands forward, maybe walking them behind. Breathing some space. All right, then starting to walk those hands back underneath your shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift. Start to bend into that left leg. Make your way into a Skandasana side lunge onto the left side. Maybe taking flight, moving the arms like a dance. Maybe sinking into it, dropping the hips, lifting the toes. And finding whatever is calling to you in this moment. Right, then as you're ready, starting to lift up, opening up into Star Pose, settling into Warrior Two. And windmill the hands down, picking up that heel, left foot steps back. Make your way into Downward Dog. And then finding stillness. Right, as you're ready, look to the top of your mat, visualizing a squat with your feet outside the hands, bend into the knees, and then hop, step, or jump into our Malasana squat. So maybe staying high with your hips higher than your knees, maybe going low. Breathing into it, finding stillness and space, or maybe swaying a little side to side. You can stay with this and hold, or to get a little bit more movement, on your next inhale, drive through the heels to lift up, straighten the legs, and then exhale, sitting low into our squat. And inhale, driving through the heels to lift up, and exhale, grounding in. One more time, driving the heels down to lift up. Exhale, settling in, and then hold. Staying with this, or maybe dropping the right hand, opening up the left, twisting to the left side. Maybe going for a bind and feeling it out. And then we release, coming back into stillness. If you want that release, on your inhale, drive through the heels to lift up. And exhale, lowering in. 2 more times. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, driving in. 1 more time, lifting up. Exhale, sinking in. And then hold. Or go into your twist, twisting to the right side. Breathing through it. And then release, come back into our squat. All right, going into boat pose. So imagining that pose in your mind. Reach the hands forward, sink the hips back, and without using your hands if you can, making our way into Navasana boat pose. So we're going to be here holding for good 5 breaths or so, finding your shape, committing to it, maybe staying in stillness, maybe straightening the legs. Three, 2, 1, and lower down. Giving that core a little release. Maybe bringing the knees in, giving your back some more release, more circles in the low spine, and preparing yourself for your back bends. So setting up for bridge pose, making sure you can kind of feel the back of your heels. When you're ready, on your inhale, drive down through the heels to lift up into bridge. We're holding for a couple breaths. Can we find some height? And sinking the hips down. Hands to your heart and your belly. Knees falling in. Find your breath. All right, setting up for a second round. Finding your heels, touching the fingers, pressing the arms in. On your inhale, lifting up into our bridge pose. Maybe taking a variation with the arms going a little bit deeper. Really pressing the hips up as we're pushing the arms down. And then release. Dropping the knees in. Hands to your heart, to your belly. Connect. All right, we're going to do one more round, sticking with bridge if it's calling to you. Otherwise, you can make your way into wheel pose. Only if you're comfortable with it, you know it, you love it. So setting up, and then as you're ready, lifting up into your pose. And gently starting to lower back down. Hands to your heart, your belly, knees falling in. Find your breath first, that neutral spine. Then bringing maybe your knees in, giving yourself a big bear hug. Then finding happy baby that's calling to you, grabbing onto the outsides of the feet, drawing the knees in towards your elbows, drawing the sacrum down, maybe rocking side to side. Slowing that heart rate back down. All right, and then we release. All right, bringing our legs up straight in front of us for waterfall pose. We can stay here, just enjoying that restorative benefit of gravity pulling the feet a little differently. Or take that right leg, setting up for that figure 4, top of the left knee, maybe bending the knee, pulling the knee in, feeling it out. And staying with this or dropping it over to the left side, extending the right arm out, lifting the right gaze over your shoulder, and finding sensation in this side twist. All right, bringing that legs back in through center and straightening up for a waterfall pose again, resetting. And as we're ready, going into the other side. So taking that left leg, bringing it on top of the right knee, and maybe threading the hands through, pulling that right knee in. Feeling this for a few breaths. And using that strong core to topple those legs over to the right, bringing the left arm out, bringing the gaze over to the left shoulder, finding some sensation. All right, using that core to pull those knees back in through center. Reset, waterfall pose one more time. If you would like to go into shoulder stand or plow pose, it's a great opportunity to do so. Or you can make your way into spinal Savasana, maybe using that strong core to lower those legs down, slow and controlled. And then we release. All right, setting up for whatever Savasana shape feels good today. Just a few minutes to connect with your breath. Tuning out any thoughts, any emotions, acknowledging them, thanking them, and then sending them on their way. And just softening in and feeling supported by the earth. Right. You're welcome to stay in Savasana as long as you would like. You may press pause or tune me out to start to be guided out of it. Start to bring movement back into your fingers and toes. Maybe starting to wiggle the wrists, wiggle the ankles. Extending your arms overhead, a big good morning stretch. And then gently rolling over to your favorite side. Pausing for a moment. And gently sitting up, coming to a comfortable seat. So finding one more moment in stillness and gratitude before we go back into our life off of the mats. Hands at your knees, or maybe hands at heart center. Maybe rubbing them together, feeling that friction, that heat, that energy that we have been cultivating within. And then coming to stillness for one more moment. So for everything that you have shared today on the mat, we all benefit off of the mat. That peace and kindness that you have cultivated will carry out and bring peace and kindness throughout your life. So thank you so much for taking the time to care for yourself today. And until I see you on the mat again, I bow to you and say, Om Shanti, peace, peace within, peace around, and peace to those who need it most. So thank you so much. If you found this video at all helpful for you, I would love it if you could like, subscribe. Let's help get this content out in front of the people who need it most. And otherwise, keep doing the good work, bringing that peace, that zen into your life off of the mat. And I will see you again soon. Bye.